All right, let's do it live on a Monday edition. Merely Bo, the Great Z, a dastardly deed occurred on Saturday night. I'm shocked you're here. I think it speaks to your toughness that you're here. It was a sneak attack. It was something no one saw coming, and the evidence of pain and betrayal is all over your face and your neck, sir. Yeah, make sure, just take care of yourself. We got a football season upcoming.
Listen. At the end of the day, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And so I went to AIW Shook Ones, and I was going to call out members only.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just be careful. Take care of yourself.
And that's what I did. I went out there, I called out members only because they had perpetrated a nefarious act against me. And so I went there to call them out. And I did that. I called them out, and they've been running their mouths. And so I invited them to come out.
Yeah.
And I said, look, if you guys want to each have your turn, you want to fight me one-on-one, fair, I'm game. A little back and forth. I made the offer again, and they said, we don't fight fair. And immediately both of them grabbed chairs and hopped in the ring. Mm-hmm. So I hopped out of the ring. And the truth is, I am a 45-year-old man. Mm-hmm. I am a father. I am a husband.
That's right.
I am a friend. I am a commentator for the Cleveland Browns. I'm an announcer. Mm-hmm. I am not a professional wrestler. And so, yes, and getting to go into the gauntlet, did I get to live out a part of a childhood dream? Mm-hmm. Of course. Did members only dash that dream? Yes, they did. But my intention was not necessarily to take it, say, look, if you guys want to end this once and for all, one-on-one, let's do that. That's fine. If not, the reality is I'm not a professional wrestler. If you guys are going to get chairs, all of this, I'm going to get out of the ring. I had a couple buddies, Joshua Bishop and Filthy Tom Lawler, and I said, I'm not a wrestler. They are. They'll come fight you. Mm-hmm. And out they came, and this wild brawl ensues. And then out of nowhere, Jeff Jarrett's music hits. The Jeff Jarrett, the 2-time Hall of Famer, the 12-time world champion, the legend, the last outlaw, Jeff Jarrett. His music hits, but he doesn't come out. It's his wife, Karen Jarrett. She comes out carrying his guitar. That distracts Bishop and Lawler. They get rolled up by members only who get a cheap 1, 2, 3. They get the win. So now I come in the ring, and we're like, what is going on? What are you doing here? Why are you here? She says, Jeff had a history with members only. Apparently they had aligned themselves years before, unbeknownst to me. He's not here. He sent me to deliver this message to you, basically. Mm-hmm. And so I'm there talking. She's talking from the stage. I'm in the ring. Members only's out there with her. The next thing I know, I hear wham, wham. I turn around. Jeff Jarrett is in the ring with a chair. He's knocked out Bishop. He's knocked out Lawler. I turn around like, what's going on? Boom. Chair to the gut. Didn't feel great. And then he hits me with his finishing move, the stroke, which just about knocked me out. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The next thing I remember is that I'm being lifted in the air by members only, who were holding me with my arms out like this. And I remember seeing Jeff Jarrett wind up and absolutely destroy a guitar over my head. This resulted in multiple cuts. I have Band-Aids everywhere. Yeah. I don't know if I was concussed. I just came from my doctors. They're still evaluating my status right now. My neck is jacked. Yep. As you can see,
see that.
This is not comfortable, by the way. Mm-mm. I can't even turn my head. I have to go like this.
Yeah, you have to whole body.
And Jeff Jarrett hit me with a guitar. Mm-hmm. And it hurt. Well, a great deal. I've never talked to Jeff Jarrett before.
I was going to say, what
I have never, just members only, those conniving. I guess they went way deep in their Rolodex and called in the biggest favor that members only could possibly ever call in to get a Hall of Famer, a 12-time world champion, Jeff Jarrett, to come out on their behalf and smoke me.
Yeah.
You've seen the pictures. You've seen the images. You the video. Gibby, do we have the sound?
We're still working on uploading it
Efforting
because
the
the
sound.
cloud crashed right before we went on the air.
We're gonna get you
get
that
it.
sound so you guys can hear what I went through. But
All right.
I just one last thing.
Yep.
Hardway Holloway, I owe him a great thank you. He came out and ran them off. And there will be another chapter. And we'll get to that when you're ready, but you have something to say. Go ahead.
Well,
Bo.
I just, you are a voice of the Cleveland Browns. Your vocal cords are a critical part of this operation. You're here with me every day, and of course on Sundays with the voice. Yeah, I mean, there has to be a great deal level of concern here in the building for your vocal cords, for your health. I had great pause because you had said you were going to answer them, and I was concerned, but then realized that these members-only guys, there's only so much they can do. You versus them, all you wanted was a fair fight in this thing. That's all
I
you
was
wanted was a
looking
fair
for.
fight. Give me a fair fight. And it's escalated in a nature that I am concerned that this has gone too far. And looking at you here now, I am concerned about your health going forward. And I know your spirit animal is as well.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But here's the deal, man. Here's the deal. I'm not a pro wrestler,
No,
okay? But I am a man, Bo Bishop.
that's right.
I am a man, Jeff Jarrett. And you're going to come here
Oh, boy.
to Cleveland, Ohio, and attack me and assault me like that? Well, that's why I had to make a challenge. And I have challenged you, Jeff Jarrett. I have challenged you, members only, to a Muni Lot brawl at AIW Absolution 17. Me, the three-time AIW champ Josh Bishop, the former AIW champ Filthy Tom Lawler, an Ultimate Fighter. Go look up his one-punch knockout. Hopefully we see that on July the 13th. And Hardway Holloway, a future AIW champ. They've got my back. And now here's the deal, Bo. Here's where it gets interesting. It would be enough to take on Jeff Jarrett and members only. But Jeff Jarrett, and perhaps what I consider to be a sign of respect, is bringing backup in the form of a 7'4",
Come on.
450-pound giant named Satnam Singh. And so it will be at AIW Absolution, Jeff Jarrett, Satnam Singh, and members only against us. And I don't know what's going to happen for me. I'll be honest with you. I'm out of my element, brother. I'm not well, but I've got 3 weeks to get well. And Jeff Jarrett, mark my words, you've made this personal, and you're going to feel what I felt at Shook Ones.
All right. As your friend and as your colleague, I have a great deal of concern
I can't be
for the
talking-
choices you're making right now.
He crossed the line, Bo.
I
What would you
understand
do if in front of your family, if somebody came, attacked you, and laid you out? Are you going to just go run away?
Yeah, I'd probably go play some Xbox, quite honestly. I don't know if I'd challenge a 12-time world champ. And now you got a 7'4" giant coming in?
That's right.
You're the franchise around here.
I'm nervous about that part, to be honest with you. To be
This
honest
was not in
with
the
you.
brochure, Coach.
This was not in the brochure.
You're supposed to
but
be
a
you
person-
members only. Now you got a 12-time champ. You got a 7'4" giant. At some point, I think maybe you have to reconsider and think about what's best for you and your family and the future of this organization and this show.
Oh, now you're concerned about the future of this show.
Well, you're the franchise. I'm concerned for you mostly.
Here's the thing. Look at me. Touch me. Am I here? Am I real?
In
Am
the
I
flesh,
alive?
baby. In the flesh.
I am alive. And so you took your best shot at me, Jeff Jarrett, had my hands held back while you hit me with a guitar, and guess what? I'm still standing. And I'm not 100%, not even close, but I don't need to be today. I need to be 100% July 13th, 7:30 p.m., Masonic Temple Live. And I need everybody in Cleveland. I need every Browns fan. Anybody who's ever listened to this show, anybody that has any ounce of respect for me in this fair city. Heck, I got people flying in from all over the country because I need that home field advantage. You know what makes Cleveland Browns Stadium so special? It's you. It's the dog pound. That's why the Browns won 8 games at home last year, a franchise record, because when you come into that hostile environment, there's something. It buoys the spirits of the Cleveland Browns. It lowers the intensity. It scares your opposition, and I'm going to need all the help I can get. I need every single person in this town to go to AIW Ab Solution 17 to support me, to give me that energy, to give me that home field advantage, because I'm the underdog. I'm the underdog by a lot. And you know what? I don't care, because when we're together, Cleveland, we could do great things. So I need you, because I need to beat Jeff Jarrett.
I love you. I respect you. I'm concerned. I understand your passion for this.
I'm getting too excited.
I know.
We're
We're going to take a break here in a second. I'm hoping that you will reconsider. But I understand that pride is on the line here, that this was a dastardly deed, and it is something that needs to be answered for. But I cannot sit here idly by and act like I'm not concerned for your well-being going forward. This is a 12-time world champion. It's a giant. The odds are not great, my friend. They are not great. But I got you. I got your back. I'll support you.
Were the odds great? Concerned. Were the odds great when the Browns had to call a quarterback off of his couch late in the season to make an improbable run? And guess what? Flacco fever swept the nation. The miracle happened. There's one more miracle here in Cleveland.
There you go.
And you're going to get it at AIW Ab Solution 17. Jeff Jarrett, you have no idea what you've done. I'm not scared. I've taken your best. I've taken the stroke.
Well, he's got a giant.
I've taken the guitar.
He didn't have a giant.
Well, I got Josh Bishop, and I got Filthy Tom Lawler. I got Hardway Holloway. Let me tell you something. If Satnam Singh tags into the match when I'm in the ring, I will be tagging out of the match immediately.
I'm not doing that.
And that doesn't make me any less of a man. That makes me smart.
Smart. Private school. All right, there you go.
I appreciate your concern. Oh.
You don't need to relive that. I think that's
Paul, play it again for me.
That is horrible. Gibby loves it. Listen to him cackle.
That's my head, Gibby.
It was. And you want to follow it up by getting back in the ring, man.
He's getting back in.
Gibby.
All guts.
Gibby, I know you pretty darn well after over a decade together of going from town to town, running up and down these roads. And I know you were a man who never backed down. I know you were a man who, in many cases, you were the enforcer. You were the Bill Laimbeer. Would you run away? No. I'm not going to. Look, I'm 45. I'm confronting.
I might run away in this instance.
I would run.
I am Listen.
There are professionals in that ring. I'm not one of them.
I am not a professional. Easy.
What are you doing?
You listen to me, Gibby.
Slower movements.
You listen to me right
camera
now.
When you do this.
This is my last opportunity. This is my last opportunity to do something great and spectacular in an industry and in a business that I love. And I was provoked into this. I did not want this.
You didn't ask for it.
I didn't ask for it. But now it is here. And I'm 45. I'll be 46 when I step in the ring.
I'm a man. We need that quote.
I am a man in my 40s. You could get that quote because I said it. I'm not a professional wrestler, but I am a man, Jeff Jarrett.
Well, the gauntlet has been laid down. Those are your hot topics of the day, presented by University Hospitals. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Billy Joel, Rod Stewart together for the first time ever. It is Friday, September 13th, Cleveland Browns Stadium. Tickets are on sale now. Visit clevelandbrownsstadium.com/Billy and Rod 2024.
Billy and Rod 2024.
You get more information. Claim your tickets now. Don't miss Billy Joel, Rod Stewart together for one night only. There's a lot going on here locally. In addition to that, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers have hired a new coach. Kenny Atkinson is your new head coach of the Cavs. Last head coaching job was with the Nets. He was there from like 16 to 19 and then resigned in the middle. I want to say the middle of that season when they acquired Kyrie and Durant was when he had resigned at that point. Was good there most recently, an assistant coach with the Golden State Warriors. I have no idea if this is good or not. I don't know that it matters too much in the NBA, quite honestly.
Well, I think, you're coming from what has been a successful franchise. Mm-hmm. It's somebody that people thought maybe should have gotten hired last time around. So if it follows the mold of the Cleveland Browns and Kevin Stefanski, right? Remember, people thought maybe he should have gotten hired the first time around.
Yeah.
He didn't. And it's worked out pretty well. So hopefully that's the case for the Cavs because it's great when all the Cleveland sports teams are thriving.
Yeah, and by the way, the Gardos are crushing it. They're absolutely killing it. They won 5 in a row. If they win tonight, they'll have the highest winning percentage. Is it the highest winning percentage in the American League? Pretty sure.
I believe you have that. Yes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the way that it goes. Oh my gosh, I forgot. Amidst all of the dastardly deeds that happened to you. We had on Friday night, or Friday afternoon rather, because we were off.
Yep.
Well, we weren't off. We did Victory Friday, but that allowed for some freedom, and that those are things that we put together beforehand, and then they air in real time on those Fridays. I was free, and so we were coming off of NBC, and I played on the Wednesday before, and I put it on him pretty good, and handled business. And so he's like, "Well, let's go again." So now. It's a little bit like if you've seen those clips of like a lion who is the head of the pride, and then the other male lions can kind of see that he's limping a little long in the tooth, like they just start nipping at him a little bit. That's a little bit of that is what I think he felt like, and he's felt like this all summer that eventually it was going to happen. And so I said, all right, let's go. So we went out and played on Friday afternoon. I said, we got time for 9. We can play 9. So we went out and go ahead.
I don't think you have to count this as an official loss.
There's been some consternation about that.
You do not have to count this. Golf is an 18-hole match.
Here would be I think the pushback. Yes, I still have that out there. I still have the 18-hole match out there. I will acknowledge that. But we went into it knowing it was 9. We went into it knowing that we're only playing 9 holes. It was not a situation where I said, for example, I'm up, let's go home. You're up, let's go home. I didn't Zago it. Like we were going to play 9 holes. There was none of that. So
It's like instead of it's like
I think of it this way: it's like playing to 11 instead of 21.
Exactly, it's one half a game.
Yeah. So that's kind of was a quick game to 11.
Right.
That type of a thing.
Anything can happen.
It can.
Too short of a sample size.
I have a feeling the sample size is going to get bigger as it plays out.
Given how you feel about the state of your golf game and probably the limited room for improvement on that golf game.
That's
given time and also just muscle memory restrictions at the age of 40. Like you're not going to just all of a sudden become you're an excellent athlete, but you're not all of a sudden going to become a scratch golfer.
No.
He is
done.
Only going to continue to get better.
That's correct. So this was going to happen, and I've told you guys this was going to happen eventually. So first 3 holes, I'm up 2 through the first
Hudson.
3.
And you're playing match play?
We're playing stroke play. Okay.
What's our putt policy? How close?
Ball in the hole.
No
I mean,
gimmies.
I guess we did gimmies like 6 inches, 8 inches, like that, but
not
2 feet. No.
Oh God.
No, they had to go.
That's serious.
Yeah. So we're cruising along and really not paying too much of attention to the score, but I'm up 2 shots through the first 3. We get to 4. We actually played the back 9s. We get to 13, and he actually played it pretty poorly. Hits it right, chips it to the back. So he's got like a downhill from the fringe, downhill side hill putt. I've got a birdie putt from about 6 feet, and he's got a downhill side hill. I miss the birdie putt, tap in the par. He makes the putt from the fringe, makes it downhill. And I went, okay.
Is that the first moment where you're like,
well,
today might be the day?
If we're going to do this, then okay, that's how it's going to go. So next hole we play, we go to 14, and we both hit drives in the fairway. I hit my second left, so it's like it's pin high, but it's up there. But I got to go over a sand trap to chip it on and try to hold it to make par. And he borrowed. He goes, "Can I borrow your 5-iron?" I said, "Yeah." We're like 160, and he hit a 5-iron, and he hits that fade, and and it just went like this, and it went right up the neck of the green to like 12 feet. 12 feet to this, and he's going, I'm like, dude, that's an unbelievable iron shot. Like, that's fantastic out of you. I'm proud of you. Great job. So I go on to make double because I fluff the chip. I'm terrible around the green. I have no hands. I don't know how to hit him. I don't know what's the right policy to do. And I actually went to Dixon. I'm like, Dixon's like, just use your 8-iron and hit it like a putter. And see, any sort of caddying would have helped me. He doesn't need that because he's been taught correctly. So the kid, he rolls in birdie, legit. 6-3.
I'd have made him do a shot, birdie juice now. I don't care how old you are. I'm going to get you out of your game.
Swing.
So I went from up 1
to down
2 in one hole. But we're okay still. Fine.
Plenty of golf left.
Fine. Plenty of golf. So even it up on 15, I make par. He makes, let's see. Yeah, 15. I make par. He makes bogey. Back to even, 3 holes to play. So I'm thinking to myself as I go to 16, like, I haven't hit driver yet. I hit some 3-woods. I hit some other stuff. But I'm like, I know that if my length can help me here, like if I hit it. So I hit driver. I get a hold of it good. But it clips a tree down the right-hand side. Clips a tree and takes kind of a bad bounce, and it's kind of in jail. So I've got a rescue club, and I hit it like a nuclear rescue club. And as it's leaving, you've done, and you haven't, but those of us who suck do this. It hits the. I think I hit it low enough that it stays underneath, but it skins the top of a branch, and it shoots down. So now I'm in the bunker and looking at best bogey, and he's looking at this point he had 2 good shots, and he's a chip. His third is a chip. So he hits a chip. The kid got it to check.
No, he didn't.
I swear to God, he checked it. So it looks like it's flying. It goes and it just kind of rolls to within 3 feet. What are we doing? What are we doing here, man?
So he's going par, birdie, par on you for over 3 holes?
Yeah.
Well, that's gonna
bogey.
That's gonna
he had a bogey on the one bogey on the par 3.
Yeah, that allowed you to tie it.
That allowed me to tie it. So he goes par. I go double because I couldn't get out of the damn sand. I go double. Now I'm down 2 going to 17. So 17, naturally, he's in the fairway, as he naturally is. Go ahead.
Are you using the one advantage that you have, which would be psychological? Are you talking to him? Are you building up the moment?
I had several. I'm not being cheap, but there were several subtle, like I had people say, like, compliment him on how far he's hitting it.
Yeah.
Compliment, say, boy, these greens are really rolling fast today, that type of stuff. He was largely unflappable. I got to give him credit. He really was.
Okay.
He was impervious to it.
All right, so you're down 2.
So I'm
you
down
need
2
to win
with 2
17.
to play.
I need to win 17.
And 18's a par 5, so I should be able to be in the vicinity of. But I know I'm not doing better than par, so I need him to blow up more.
And you're playing same tees?
He's so we have 5 sets of tees. I'm playing the third from the front. He's playing the second from the front.
Okay.
So it's a little bit, not much though.
Not much.
Largely, it's pretty similar.
Yep.
Because again, I suck. So my first shot on 17, it's a big left dog leg and almost like a boomerang hole, and I blow through the fairway. I hit it perfect, but I hit it too much club, and I hit it through the fairway, and I'm like in the junk, and he's in the fairway, and I go, all right, there's a way where, like, if you can picture a tree here, water here, green here, but I'm so far that I can actually kind of go across and get the green. So I'm standing over this thing. I'm like, I'm Van de Velde. What am I doing here? Like, there's no way I can do this. And he looks at me and he goes, Dad, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, the only way that I can do that, I have to make par minimum because he's not going to. Par's the best I can do. So I swing to beat hell, and I got it, and it went up, and it went to the right behind the green. Like, I made it through it all. I got through. I'm through there. The kid's second shot, He puts it on the green. So he 2 putts for par. He takes a 4. I bogey 5. I'm down 3 with 18 to play. It's done. It's cooked. So we're standing over 18, and he can he knows because he's keeping track. Like he's adding it, and he's like you. Like he knows what I got, what he got. He's counting it.
Sure.
And I'm like, God, you've really crushed that driver, dude. Just keep smoking that thing. It's unbelievable. I mean, it's really remarkable. He gets up there and he just pipes it right down the middle.
I hear you. I agree with you, Dad.
I went par. He got a par. So when it's done, so he wins by 3. He shot 41.
That's legit.
So like I can't shoot 41. I can't. There's nothing I can do. I'm not that good.
Is that his best ever?
Yeah, probably in the vicinity.
It's gotta be.
Yeah, I mean he had 2 birdies, 3 pars. Like, yeah, it was crazy. So I was curious, like, and the whole time I thought of Zago. I'm like, he deserves the moment. Like, I'm not gonna, as long as he's not a punk. But I didn't know how he would behave it. So I make my par putt. He makes his par putt, and it's over at that point. And it's pretty crazy. He takes off his hat, and he's got like a little bit of a smile on his face, but at the same time very earnest. He takes off his hat. He puts out his hand, and he goes, "Great match, Dad. Thank you." And I went, "Come on." So I just hugged him, and I'm like, it's going to be much more of this to come is how it's going to go. But he shook my hand, and then I'm like, well, dude, you got to celebrate some. Like, you've been waiting for this for a long time. So then I took the picture of him, like, with his hands looking back on 18. But, like, it was a lot of class. Like, it was – there's not much I could do. I'm not that good, and I'm never going to be.
No. Now you need to defend the basketball court.
So I did. Me and Bootsy whipped their ass on Sunday. We played 4 series. I just kept whipping them.
Yeah.
They beat us. We played 10 games. They won 3. We won 7. So that's the way that went. And then Bootsy and I played them last night, and we whipped them. We went out late last night and played him, and we whipped him there. But, like, there's going to be much more of that for him.
Golf, you're going to just have to
I'm going to have to just take it on the chin.
Yeah, you're going to have to take it on.
I enjoy the hell out of it. The kids love it, which leads me to number 4 on our list of Around the Sports World. I found myself watching the PGA on Sunday. Were you guys watching this by chance?
Yes. I saw the highlights only.
You were watching it live?
Well, yeah, I mean, I haven't been doing anything but watching TV.
Sitting up,
yes.
yeah. That's going to affect your game. You had talked about going to Chicago.
Paulus, play that sound again. Just have that ready throughout the show.
He's taunting you with this.
Just play it whenever.
Of course.
Like, are you going to be able to?
I have a feeling.
There we go. That's nice.
You had planned a golf trip.
I had a feeling. That's off. I had a feeling that Gibbe is going to be at Absolution, but I'm not so sure he's not going to be wearing like a Jeff Jarrett T-shirt.
He'll be in the corner. Not yours.
Not mine. It's in play.
Yeah, it's in play.
It's in play. No, I was watching it. It was good. I mean, crowded leaderboard, good players, great drama, and then silliness.
Chaos.
Nonsense.
On 17, complete, utter nonsense.
Nonsense.
You know what we did? So it was right when it was raining because we had tons of rain.
Yeah.
So because I'm a flipper and I still have the cable, the Live was like 3 channels up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they were on like the network or
they were on CW in Nashville. So I just was curious, like, how the two are presented and what's the difference is when they go head to head. So the boys and Amy and I were all watching it, and I'm watching Travelers, and I would flip to Live. And then I said the difference was very apparent to me immediately, the difference. Not even just graphically how it looks, but I'm like, well, guys, what do you notice? And Beamsy goes, there's no one there, Dad.
Yeah.
There's no one going to these things. They played in Nashville. Bryson DeChambeau is in the fairway. He's within 6. I think Hatton won it. He's within 6 or 7 of Hatton, so it's over. Like, Hatton's going to win it. There's not much drama to it. DeChambeau's in the fairway. There's no way there's more than 200 people surrounding the green. I mean, it looked like a junior tournament or a high school tournament.
Yeah, and Rom's
COVID. There was nobody there.
About drones.
I'm going to get to him. You flip over to Travelers, there's 50,000 people around 18. And that might be a low estimate.
There are more people on the green that didn't belong there at the 18th at the Travelers than there were in attendance at the Live event.
I think you're not far off. Like, it was – it reminded me, like, I understand why Bryson goes nuts at the U.S. Open.
He's having fun.
It's full house.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a crowd.
Yeah, I'm back in front of people playing real golf. Like, this is great. This is what it's supposed to be like. They're not getting that on that tour. Now, that's what the money's for.
Yep.
So to Rahm, who complained, the first time it looked like to me he was complaining because people were moving behind the green. You'd know better than me. Did you see both complaints? Yeah. That's my guess on the first one, that people were moving all behind the green before he shot.
In his swing,
yeah. And then the second one, he was complaining about the drone.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the money's for, dude.
You took the money.
That's how they do it.
That's how they do it. And I think he's also mad because he's not playing as well as he was. As he once was playing.
But how could he be? What's the sense of urgency?
There's none. There's none.
You almost have to be wired like Bryson to be able to compartmentalize and just be like, every swing's the same and try to lock into that. Because otherwise, I don't know how you could possibly play your best in that circumstance.
Yeah.
It's not engineered for it. It's not demanded of you.
Right.
So I also think he's having a great deal of regret. I think him and Koepka are having a great deal of regret about not necessarily choosing LIV, but just did they know what was in the brochure? The money's nice, really nice, life-changing, generational, no question. But the difference was so stark between the two. Truly was.
Very much so.
You think Koepka is having second thoughts?
Yeah, he talked about that. Not directly, but talking to guys down at Memorial that covered him at the U.S. Open and the PGA, like some of the national guys. I guess like he's like, oh, God, what did I do? Like, but I think you said this once. Like, his game was kind of in a state of peril when he took the money.
Yeah, when you watched the what's it called, the Full Swing, when you watched Full Swing and you watched his episode in particular, you could tell he was doing it because he's like, my game's not that good, and they're giving me a ton of money so that even if my game's not good, I can still make a lot of money. But I think they definitely regret it.
Yeah.
Hopefully it just gets resolved and we figure this all out.
Well, I mean, it felt like that at the U.S. Open, that they're headed that way with the way they went about Bryson and stuff, and
that's
that they're
what we thought. Yeah,
going to sort it out a little bit. But I don't know what it is. I don't know how you make the guys who stayed whole. I don't know what you do with the guys who are on LIV. Like, would they want to go back to playing like the PGA Tour, like four rounds and cuts and all that stuff? Like, I don't know what that is. I don't know what that looks like. Speaking of things I don't know what they are, the Green Bay Packers named Ed Policy as their new chairman, president, and CEO. He is Carmen's son. How about that? Our former boss here, long time ago. He'll take over for the role in July of 2025. He actually practiced law here from like 1999 to 01 here in town. Here's the reason I said here's something I don't know. Does anybody out there know who makes the money with the Green Bay Packers?
Is this a rhetorical question, or you know the answer?
No, I don't know the answer.
Because it's the city owned or
the community owned. It's community owned. It's
Yeah.
club owned. So, like, every year, NFL teams make hundreds of millions of dollars. Who's enriching themselves off the Green Bay Packers?
I don't know the answer to that.
I've asked people who cover that team, and they don't know the answer to that.
Let me see if I can.
I mean, you can Google, but you're not going to. There's nothing. Someone's getting wealthy owning the Packers. I just don't know who it is. I can't make sense of it.
It says, unlike all other teams which generate windfall profits for team owners, all Packer profits are invested back into the organization.
Okay,
but
what? Then they would be so much wealthier than any other NFL team.
Yeah.
As an organization, like, their stadium should be a spaceship. They should fly private. They should have their own personal plane. Like, there's so much money that owners would otherwise make that is now being back into the team. It's hundreds of millions of dollars every year. I don't understand it.
The corporation is governed by a 7-member executive committee elected from among the board of directors. The committee directs corporate management, approves major capital expenditures, establishes board policy, and monitors performance of management in conducting the business and the affairs of the corporation. The elected president, currently Mark Murphy, represents the corporation at the NFL owners' meetings. The president is the only officer who receives compensation. The balance of the committee sits gratis.
Packers reported last year $374.4 million.
So what are you doing with it, man?
Great question.
Yeah. Very good question.
No one's got an answer.
I don't.
Yeah, I've got no. I've asked people who cover them. I don't know. I don't know where the money's going. You would think that if it's all just in that organization, everything they do would be like Real Madrid level. You know, like that. If you have to spend it, you think about like a college operation. They have to spend their money to come off looking like a nonprofit. So the way that happens is they pay strength coaches $2 million a year. They pay, women's basketball coaches $2 million a year. They pay stuff that doesn't require that kind of money, in an effort to spend the money.
So it sounds like it just goes into a giant account. These, unlike other teams, would generate windfall profits for the team owners. All Packers profits are invested back in the organization. Often these funds go towards stadium updates, blah, blah, blah. This structure has enabled the team and city to build a football mecca that, were it left solely the high-rolling sports market, would have no business surviving in a small city like Green Bay. So it sounds like there's a fund that it all goes into, that's what they do. And they're able to do for all the stadium stuff. They don't have to do anything with taxes because it's all
They've
there.
got it.
Yep.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Wild stuff. Reportedly, ESPN offered Stephen A. Smith a 5-year, $90 million deal.
What?
That's a lot of money.
Yeah. That's 18 a year, brother.
And I think they're 7 apart. Was the report last week that he wanted 25?
Take your money.
The way they built it, though, it's like he's responsible for a ton of programming.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he's looking at the McAfee deal and going, well, if this guy's getting this,
right?
I'm the face of ESPN.
Yeah, I run the NBA coverage. I do 3 hours a day or whatever he does on that show. All the debate shows, SportsCenter, all of it. You had a question?
Yeah, like all the shows that he's on and stuff, are any of them making insane ratings? I mean, I know that all their NBA stuff got largely panned. Their halftime shows, their pregame shows. So is he actually as revenue generating as $18 million a year would indicate as an on-air talent? Like, are people saying I need to go watch this because Stephen A's on it?
Well, but the other thing is it's twofold because it's also, you're also looking at viral moments.
Yes.
So you're thinking about social media moments, and he's good for that. He's good for one of those a day. He's really the face of the whole operation right now. Yeah. I don't even know who. They're trying to make McAfee that, but they chose to do this because it's cheaper to pay him than to pay an entire news department to go do stories.
Yeah.
So this is a cheaper way of doing it. That's the way it kind of goes. But God bless him. I remember he got run. Do you guys remember this when he got run there? See, I met him when he was with the Philadelphia Inquirer. Could not have been nicer. It was at the NCAA tournament, I would say, in like 2004.
He is
so nice.
He's fantastic to work with. Like when he's coming, when I worked at ESPN and we would have him, he would do a show from there. He would go on any of the shows on the station. He was grateful for anything. It was like offered to buy the entire building like lunch the one day.
Yeah. I've heard that.
Really good dude.
My interaction was 20 years ago, but he was very, very cool at that. But remember, he did a show for them that they launched. It was like a primetime debate show. I can't remember. Then he came back with Cold Pizza.
So he's been there for a while then, Cold Pizza.
In First Take, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think Cold Pizza became First Take when he got on it. And it was him and Skip in those days. But he tried there was a primetime show that he did. I forget the name of it. That he did that didn't last long and got pulled, and then he built himself back up. So good for him. We got go ahead.
Quite good for him.
Yeah, we got 2 deciding games tonight. Game 3 finale in the College World Series between Tennessee and Texas A&M. And then Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final in Florida tonight. The Panthers are up 3-0. The Oilers have won 3 straight and can become the first team since the 1942 Toronto Maple Leafs, which we know so well, to go down from down 3-0 to winning the Stanley Cup.
And I would say don't go to sleep on the College World Series. It's been pretty awesome.
It's been fun. I'll paratroop in on it.
Yeah, exactly. It's not something I'm going to watch the whole thing, but
no, it's been the college athletes competing at a high level is a growing industry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's live.
Women's College World Series, baseball. There's an interest for it. Absolutely.
One thing that we didn't get to, is the J.J. Redick.
Oh, did I miss that? I'm sorry.
Yes.
That was
no, it's okay. It literally happened 5 minutes after we got off the air.
Oh, that's right. Was Shams right all along?
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
Sure.
Maybe Dan Hurley played people. It's hard to say. I don't. It's just like the Atkinson thing. Like, I don't know what difference it makes. When Kevin Stefanski got here, he installed an offense that made us demonstratively better right away.
Mm-hmm.
Schematically, we had an advantage all of a sudden over teams we were playing that we didn't have previously.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you can do that in hoops. I think it's a ceiling of how much a coach difference can make.
I think the NBA is a player-run
talent,
league.
and then I think it's your ability to motivate and command the team.
Sure, if you have similar talent.
Yes,
But there's a ceiling on.
the impact of the coach.
That's what I think. I don't.
I mean, Phil Jackson would probably say no. Popovich would probably say no.
Well, Phil coached
But you could take a
Michael,
look at-
Scotty, Rodman, Kobe, Shaq, Kobe, Gasol.
It's helpful.
That's helpful.
Well, and even the Warriors.
I don't know if you put him on during that time, like if he was coaching, like for example, if Phil Jackson was coaching Portland, do they win 5 championships? Yeah, I don't know. And they got to a Western Conference final.
They got to a champion.
I'm talking the tenure in LA.
Oh, okay.
I meant that one. Yeah. Or yeah, you could do the other one too, like the Clyde Drexler Portland. Like if he was coaching that team instead of Rick Adelman, do they win the series? The other team has Michael Jordan. Probably not. It's my
That's
hunch
fair.
on that. But as for Redick, I don't. He's as capable as the next guy. Monty Williams got what, $72 million? He's going to get $68 million to not coach Detroit. Like, is Monty Williams any more qualified to coach an NBA team than J.J. Redick?
I'm thinking about the guys like Nick Nurse, he was the great coach and fired in a year. Budenholzer, right, in Milwaukee. Get rid of him.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, they run them pretty quickly. All right, we've got a little fact or fiction NFL offseason style coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Bo here for my team at Renew Home Exteriors. It is time to update the exterior of your home. Are you tired of that same old vinyl siding? Composite not only outshines vinyl, but it comes in 20 vibrant, maintenance-free colors to suit your style. Imagine a stunning exterior without the hassle. This month you can when you buy a whole house of siding from Renew Home Exteriors. Receive up to 100 feet in new gutters for free. Renew your home with Renew Home Exteriors, composite-clad siding. Renew Home Exteriors, superior products and superior service. Visit renewestimate.com for more on that. Time for a little fact or fiction. Hello, Gibbe. Nope.
Do you know how to use a microphone, Gibbe?
Hold on. Someone knows how to use a guitar.
Yeah, not you.
Paula, she got that? There we go.
Just at the ready.
Don't turn too fast.
Easy.
There you go.
Easy.
There you go.
You're concerned for me. I think a part of you is excited for me, but more
concern than excitement,
but
quite honestly, at this point, considering the odds.
You're certainly not throwing a party over here over what happened.
I was consoling an 8-year-old.
Unlike this guy.
Sunday morning.
I was not. I was blown away by the viciousness of things. Then I had yeah. And then later in the day yesterday was in contact with top men and top individuals in this building who are quite concerned about your ability to be ready when we go to the Greenbrier in a month.
I think it's and he hasn't gone into squared circle with a giant yet.
Correct.
Which is coming.
I'm right here right now.
I understand, but you're not yourself, and that is after just
there's
imagine
no
what's
joy.
to come.
There's nothing here.
No, it's
I've got some joy.
It's sad. It's sad what's happened, and I appreciate your vigor, but at the same time, these odds are long, very long.
Nobody likes seeing a sure thing. It's boring. A little underdog triumph's exciting.
Nobody likes a sure thing. It's boring. What do you have on fact or fiction?
I also like the beatings will continue until morale improves.
That's true.
As we put the off season to bed, this is the last day for you guys together in studio until July 10th. Yeah, I know.
A few days.
Take some time.
July 10th will be the next time you two are in a studio together.
You said something last week that I didn't like, but I knew was true, and I feel it even more. This summer is evaporating.
It's gone. It is gone.
Yeah, it is. I don't know why. I don't know why it's different this year than other years. It's been largely really nice weather.
Yes.
And so I don't know, but yeah, they're stacking. I mean, you're almost through June here, boys.
Yeah.
And so
my wife's like, you've got to stop fretting about this because I'm literally like, I'm not ready for this.
I think the other thing for us, because I mean, like you guys are obviously going to go to the Greenbrier, and even me, just like what summer is over when football starts.
Correct.
Right? So for everybody else, they're going to Labor Day. They're like, what are you guys talking about? I'm good.
August is my best life. I got 2 months to go.
Right. Yeah. Like for us, it's
over.
End of July, done.
A month.
Yeah. So it's really a 2-month. And really, I mean, this year it's even small. It feels like, I know it wasn't. You guys said it wasn't, but it felt like minicamp went even further than normal. But I mean, that was only a couple of weeks ago. So like, it's like a 6-week window.
That's it.
It's like when the draft happens the last week in April, the ball starts rolling down the hill, and it is a solid 50 miles an hour by the time you get to minicamp.
Yeah, I do. Remember when they had that talk about like, hey, let's have this. We're going to do more in the summer. Make training camp longer. Like, if anything, make this break longer. Have minicamp be done before Memorial Day, and then that would give you kind of 2 months of relative freedom. But it's tight. It's a tight window.
Yeah.
All right. As we wrap up the offseason, we'll get to our Browns offseason awards coming up in a few minutes. But little NFL fun on this Monday. By the way, the Voice will be in studio with you tomorrow, Mr.
Voice.
Bishop.
Very good. Very good. Very good.
The GOAT.
The.
Fact or fiction, 3 teams will make the playoffs from the AFC North. Time for way too early prediction time.
It really is early.
It's very early.
Fact.
Bo's confident.
Yep.
I can tell you Hard Knocks would be ecstatic with that.
Yeah. I just think that these are the four of the 10 best teams in the AFC.
So here's the
in this
way I
division.
look at it. Kansas City's going to make it. You're going to have and then you got 4 champions. So let's go West. Kansas City makes it. I feel like the Chargers have a chance to be a wild card team because of Harbaugh. Okay,
Determined to run that back.
I think you've got the Jets. Then you have the Dolphins and the Bills, who feel like potential. Dolphins probably are a pretty good bet to make it. In the South, you've got everybody's darling Houston. It's not like the Jags are trash. And there's a quiet buzz in NFL circles about the Indianapolis Colts, who were one small play away from winning their division last year.
I kind of have a feeling it could be a subtraction by addition with Richardson versus Minshew, and I don't think Minshew's great, but Richardson's going to learn on the job.
Right now,
you know what I mean?
Whatever he did in this early portion of the offseason, there's more hype on him as taking the huge leap in the NFL and becoming the next breakout star than anybody.
He just has played so little football, not just in the league, but even in college. It's just not a lot of ball.
Agreed. So anyway, I think that's a possibility. And then in ours, all 4 of them you have to consider as possibilities. I think 3 means you get 2 of the wild cards, and there's 1 other wild card to go probably to the AFC East. I could see that. I could see us, Ravens, Bengals all making it. So I'll say fact as well.
Next.
Jeez.
The Jets are the team to beat in the AFC East.
Can I just
Fact or fiction?
Can I just say something for a second?
That was Paulus. That wasn't even Gibbe asking for it.
This was like
It still is. Traumatic.
a seriously traumatic event that happened in my life.
You're bandaged?
And a painful event that happened in my life. And you would think that like I would get some support here. I feel 100% support from you.
I hope so. I hope that you do.
Not.
Well, that was Paul. That was even Gibby asking for it. Paul is sticking it to you from afar.
We came to an agreement.
Oh, he gave it an agreement.
Walk it off, sir.
Jeez.
Rub some dirt on it. Let's go. Move forward.
He was
That's what I tell my
bloodied.
kids.
There was smoke coming off the man's head. I didn't even know that happened.
I
Guitar
didn't
smoke?
either.
Never even seen such a thing. Well, to be fair, I haven't seen a lot of people hit over the head with a guitar either. So I guess
Not that way.
No. Are the Jets the team to beat in the AFC East?
Yes.
Yeah, I think they are for me.
Yes.
Until I see Rodgers not play again, yes, they have the best roster.
They're loaded.
They are.
Next. The Bears will make the playoffs out of the NFC. Fact or fiction?
All right, so let's do this again. NFC. So West, Niners in, Rams possible, Seattle maybe possible. I mean, they made it 2 years ago. I don't think Arizona's going to the playoffs this year.
No.
NFC East, Cowboys, Eagles.
Yeah, both in.
Eagles better make it.
NFC South, I think
Dolphins.
just Atlanta. But Tampa, you got to say, is a possibility.
Yep.
And then in the North, Detroit, Green Bay. My
similar to
guess
ours.
is they're going to have to get 3 in if Chicago's going to make it. So that means you'd have 1 other wild card, which you feel like is coming from the East, which means they're going to have to get in. They're going to have to beat the Rams and or somebody in their division. They're going to have to be better than one of those 2 things, which is tough, but I think they have a good roster. I think they're going to be more fun than maybe they are successful year 1.
My hunch is it's a little bit too much too soon, but also acknowledging that their roster is really good, and that honestly, if Caleb is like 80% of what Stroud was last year,
He's got a better supporting cast.
he definitely does. So they go. I mean, the schedule. So let's see it. They're home to Tennessee. So the first 4
Win.
games are Tennessee, at Houston,
Loss.
at Indy,
Probably
Rams
loss.
at home.
That's going to be a huge game.
That's September 29th. Their next 4 are Panthers,
Win.
Jaguars, Commanders, Cardinals. They could go 4-0 in that stretch, but even 3-1.
They need to hope to be. They got to be 4-4 after 8.
Yep. Next 4 are Patriots at home, Packers at home,
Win.
Vikings at home, at
Loss,
Lions.
Win, loss.
2-2.
So right around even.
Yep. Last 5. At Niners,
Loss.
at Vikings,
Win.
Lions at home,
Loss.
Seahawks at home on the 26th.
That could be a big game, too.
Yep. And then at Green Bay to close it out. So around 9 wins, 8 wins.
Yeah,
is what
they're
it
right
seems
around
like.
500. 8.5.
That probably won't do it.
No.
Well, and the big question is Eberflus. Forget about the quarterback situation. Like, they brought him back.
My question for them is, if you go, is it going to be better for their franchise long term to be the 7 seed this year and run it back, or to potentially miss the playoffs and decide, all right, let's make a change and bring in a bigger name or more of an innovative offensive mind to work with your quarterback?
The keeping of him when you had
Stunning.
the perfect get-out-of-jail-free card is just stupefying to me that they would do that. I don't understand it. I'm actually curious. One of you guys said it. We'll finally get to see what makes him tick on Hard Knocks. Like, what type of – is he a big force of personality? I have no idea.
Yeah, we'll
Doesn't it
find
come
out.
across that way?
We'll find out.
No.
Next. I'm going to skip down just because unless you have an early favorite to win the AFC and NFC.
I mean, you have to say Kansas City until somebody can beat
Kansas
them.
City, San Francisco until they get beat.
Yep.
Okay, then. Next. Which team that didn't make the playoffs last year has the best chance to make them this year?
Cincinnati.
Gold chain is spectacular, by the way.
It is. He's wearing his those aviators. This time they're functional, though, to hide your eyes
Well,
from what has
it's
happened.
ugly. It's ugly. Yeah. Ugly there.
Cincinnati.
Will make the playoffs that did not.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
What if you take injury out of it? So you can't use the Bengals. You can't use the Jets.
The Atlanta Falcons.
Falcons, yeah.
As long as
they're probably
Kirk
the
plays.
Yeah.
He's gonna play. What do you mean? And don't worry, they used their first-round draft pick on a quarterback who's not going to play for 3 years, after using their previous first-round draft pick on a running back.
It's pretty wild.
Could go wrong.
And they definitely didn't need Bill Belichick.
No, not at all. By the way, you're listening to 850 ESPN Cleveland, a good Karma brand station.
Which team that made the playoffs last year misses it this year?
Well, Tampa Bay is the easy one, I would think. But
Steelers.
I was going to say Pittsburgh. The other one, it could be Houston, too.
A lot of people want to anoint them.
It's
We
just that
talked
thing
about
of
it.
like they were so good down the stretch, obviously, and we saw firsthand. But I think Jacksonville will be good again next year. And you had talked about Indy, maybe making a move too.
Bills.
Maybe Houston
Young
comes
Browns.
back.
Tennessee thinks that they're better than people think
Mm-hmm.
they are. I still don't
Yeah.
understand letting Mike Vrabel go.
I don't either. Buffalo, man, if Buffalo missed the
Buffalo could miss
playoff,
the
like
playoffs.
I would think that would be,
It'd be time to redo some
yeah,
things.
that'd be a big
Well,
miss.
they really had a nice window, and they went in and just weren't able to get it done.
It's hard.
It is hard.
All right.
You're safe. You're safe.
We're safe.
All right,
Paulus,
there you go.
are we safe? Maybe we're not.
Just keep those coming. It's unbelievable.
Hate to see it.
It's so personal. It's almost like a personal attack. The man's bleeding from the top of his skull. I can see
He's
it.
fine.
Glistening.
I haven't seen any blood.
It was an attack. Dastardly deed. We'll hand out some off-season awards coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Get your Cleveland Browns single game tickets now for all the great matchups at Cleveland Browns Stadium. Visit clevelandbrowns.com/tickets or call 440-891-5050 to purchase today. Before we get to the offseason awards, I've had a lot of people curious, if they're just jumping in right now. A dastardly deed occurred over the weekend. You were attacked viciously, violently. You're a trooper that you're here. You're going to need some time to coalesce. It's something you've been dealing with throughout the show, and hopefully you'll be able to get healthy going forward. But just know that a Browns Nation, certainly me personally, worried about your well-being, but supportive of whatever you choose to do going forward. And it sounds like what you're going to choose to do is get some revenge.
I'm going to answer the call, brother. Sometimes you don't have a choice in these things. Yes, what Bo's referring to, just briefly, is that I was attacked Saturday night down in Akron by two-time – That's a guitar smashing over my head that you just heard. Two-time Hall of Famer, 12-time world champion Jeff Jarrett, unprovoked, attacked me, and we're going to settle this at AIW Absolution 17, July the 13th. So that's where we're at. I've got time to heal up. I'm not ready to compete today. I'm not ready for that right now.
No.
But I will be on July 13th.
Yeah. And then
you can count on that, brother.
That's coming. That's going to be here. Get healthy, get well. I'm concerned about this giant thing.
Satnam Singh,
not crazy about that.
450 pounds.
I'm not crazy about that.
Doesn't sound great to you?
No.
Well, I got some big dudes with me.
Not that big.
Fair.
Few are.
But if you add him and members only and divide by 3, my 3 guys are still bigger.
That's the line of the day right there.
Sorry.
It's well played.
Members jabroni.
All right. Time for your Browns.
It's true.
I know. That's why it's funny.
Yeah.
It's funny because it's true.
Funny because it's true. That's right.
All right. Time for your Browns offseason awards. Gibbe. Hello, Gibbe. Nope.
No, dude.
Gentlemen?
Did you get hit over the head with a guitar? Because you're forgetting everything.
Nah.
The mic gets it twice.
I'm ready to go on vacation.
I don't know. Remember when I used to keep the stats?
Yeah.
Running away with it.
Oh, today I'm crushing it.
You are today.
Just in general.
Yeah.
Kind of like your skull getting crushed by a guitar.
Still glistening. I can see the blood on the top of the head, on the cranium.
I tell you what, I didn't expect Jeff Jarrett to show up. I certainly didn't expect this to be like the favorite thing of Gibby's life.
You came with, well, I expected the last part. Once I knew
you
what happened, I
asked
knew
me
you
to
would
look
enjoy
it up. You're
Yeah.
like, hey, can we have that for today? I'm like, sure. And then I heard it. I'm like, yeah.
We can have that a lot.
This is going to own the
You
week.
went there with the best intents.
Yes.
Look, what you guys did wasn't right, but also I have another life and enough. I got to know my place. Now you got drug into this thing.
I don't know. There was a lot of trash talking by NZ leading up to this on Saturday.
He thought he was taking 2 little guys on.
Well, I really thought I was either taking them on one-on-one or I was going to I had people who wanted to be a tag team and fight them, not just a tag team, the tag team, Joshua Bishop, Filthy Tom Lawler, fight them in my place.
Yep.
So I was trying to be, discretion sometimes is a better part of valor. I was trying to be smart about it. And then they've escalated this to a level that I never thought possible. But what's great about this is that when you get knocked down in life and you can get back up, you can settle the score. And that's what I'm going to do. You may think I'm insane.
I do.
I may be insane.
I
may be not
think that
sound mind right
test
now. I'm
better
certainly
be
not of sound
rechecked.
body. But I am going to make sure that Absolution 17, I am going to win that match. My team, Team Zagura, is going to have their hands raised in victory, and that will be all the retribution. Nay, that will be all the absolution I need.
There you go. All right.
All right, that being said, Browns offseason awards. One word to describe the Browns offseason and why.
I mean, largely uneventful. I understand that's 2 words, but that's what happens when you're good. We lived in a world for the longest time, and where the offseason you're hiring coaches, you're hiring GMs, you're trying to acquire quarterbacks or first-round picks or huge splashes. And you got Jerry Jeudy, but I mean huge splashes in free agency or trade. Like the reality is you've got a great roster. And when you have great rosters, you have quiet off seasons. So it was pretty quiet.
My one word, September.
Thanks, Guitar Boy. Next.
Get me to September. Get me to September. I want to see this team.
It's been two straight off seasons
September,
of that, which has been
this is good.
It's
It means
hard.
you're good.
It's difficult from a content standpoint because we don't have a
Yes.
lot to talk about because there hasn't been much done.
Well, you're
but
welcome.
it's very good.
Thanks, Jeff Jarrett.
You're very welcome. But from a team standpoint, it's a very good place to be.
Yes.
Which Brown has impressed you the most this offseason?
So I'd never been. He came to Tallahassee after I left, so I'd never been in the same room with Jameis Winston before. So I'd never had any. People down there, buddies down there, have been like, "Oh, dude, you're gonna love him. Like he's a comet from a personality standpoint." And so when he came in here and we interviewed him for the first time, like he's so shot out of the cannon. And I thought, well, that's just first day. He's excited. Like I did, but no, that's him. That's just
All
who
the
he
time.
is all the time. First in, last out, like the stuff at the golf tournament. Like he is shot out of a cannon and he's just a incredibly positive presence. You guys saw him at the game in Birmingham, the
Yeah.
Willie Mays game. Like he's doing the pep talk for that. Like he's just, he's one of those guys who's gotten there's some stuff like in terms of people think like it's fake. No,
Always on.
always on. Quarter is always in and ready to go.
Zagura.
So I've been impressed by quite a few people. I've been impressed by Ken Dorsey. I've been impressed by not only the offense that he's installed, but the way in which the players have responded to him and the excitement around what he has brought to this team. I've been impressed by Mike Vrabel, which I expected to be, but he's exceeded even those expectations. I love what he brings. I know how well regarded he was in Tennessee and what he brings to our organization. I have been blown away by Deuce Staley. I mean, you talk about somebody who came in this room and just absolutely took it
Staley was
over.
great.
Deuce Staley, I've been very impressed with him. From a rule standpoint, I've been impressed with the new kickoff rule, and I think it's going to be a heck of a lot of fun and is going to make a play that had been an afterthought compelling must-see television. And from a player standpoint, the guy that I have seen the most growth from year over year is Cedric Tillman. I think Cedric Tillman has looked very good, and that could be a wonderful thing for the Browns, not just for this year, but when you think about necessary succession planning that is going to have to occur over the next couple of seasons, that would be very helpful to have Cedric Tillman become a starter for your football team.
What rookie do you think makes the biggest impact this year? Not immediate, biggest impact overall.
It's got to be Mike Hall Jr. I think he's going to get an opportunity to rush the passer in some sub packages. I think that's the one that will make the biggest immediate impact this year.
Yeah, I think if you allow me to go into the coaching staff, then I think it's Dorsey, because I think the fans will notice that most, just the imprint that he has in what we do day to day. But Mike's kind of the only one. Like who else could?
Zinter is only playing if there is a major injury to one of your Pro Bowlers,
right?
And then you get into the later picks. No, maybe the linebacker Watson will be a special teams player. Maybe Jamari Thrash will do some stuff on special teams for you. But yeah, this is not a group that you're necessarily counting on anything from. And I don't think it's a lock that everyone who was drafted is on this 53. In fact, I think that it would be, if you were to be able to have odds on what's more likely, that every draft pick makes the 53 or that there are draft picks that do not. I think the do not is 3-1 favorite.
What position on offense is the strongest?
I said that wrong. A 1-3 favorite.
Strongest position on offense and on defense.
I still think the overall strength of our offensive line is
Excellent.
is the top
Yep.
creme de la creme. of our team on that side of the ball offensively.
I think our receiver room is going to be, at the end of the season, viewed as a strength when you talk about Amari, Jerry Jeudy, Elijah Moore, Cedric Tillman, and it really needs to be. That has to happen. Defensively, I think it's the defensive line. It could be the edge, it could be the interior, it could be all of it together. I think you're loaded there, and then
I'd go corner.
you have to go
defense too.
Right, you got to go your secondary.
Really close.
I mean, you're loaded.
Corner room is
you're loaded, and I'll tell you what,
filthy.
Jordan Hicks and JOK is going to, by the end of this year, is going to be considered one of the top linebacker tandems in the NFL.
Yeah,
so all of it.
Yeah, our defensive 1 through 11 is pretty ridiculous. I mean, it's the best defense in the NFL last year. I would be shocked if it wasn't in the vicinity of that. I think the one position group that needs to play to potential is the receivers. To your point, because Jerry hasn't done that yet.
Yep.
Cedric's just in year 2, hasn't done that yet. Amari is Elijah hasn't really done it completely yet.
Yep.
Coop's known, he's done it. He's the Pro Bowler. He's all of that. But if those other 3 guys can play to the flashes that we've seen either over the course of their careers or what we've seen in minicamp and in OTAs, then look out.
Yep.
Give me one position, either on offense or on defense, that concerns you a little bit going into training camp.
I'm not concerned about the quarterback position, but that is the position that will be the key to this season. So that's the one that
it's the only one that you can even say
matters.
Yeah. And
am I worried about who our third tight end is? No. Am I worried about who's going to be in our 6 plays a game that we're playing base defense, who our Sam is? No. Everything else is known.
It's the quarterback, and it's just that it's just been so long since Deshaun has played a healthy full season.
Right. And it's not
It's
concern.
been 4 years. It's just we just haven't seen it.
Correct.
So if he does it, then if he just plays in 17 games, then I have no doubt he'll play very well. It's just he hasn't. So we just need to see him do that. And that's it. There is no other, I guess, like it's when does Nick Chubb come back? Like that type of stuff.
Sure.
Like, and what does that look like when he does come back? But like,
what's
I
the
have
offensive
confidence.
line specifically at tackle look like?
Yeah, but I think we'll be good there, whatever it is. So if it's Dewan and Jed, then
We have 3 starting
we have
tackles.
3
It's a
starting
great-
tackles. So I think we're okay there. Like if you're really good in the interior of the offensive line. So it's really just like, can Deshaun stay healthy and play 17 games? If he does, then I think he'll play really well. We just haven't seen him do that yet.
Yep. Agreed.
Biggest roster question as we head into 2024, or did you just answer it?
I don't think you have any. I think quarterback's it, and it's just health. I think everything else is. I mean, you got to prove it at receiver. The talent has to prove out, and it has to equate. But everything else, I'm good.
It's a good roster.
It's a really good roster.
All right, gents. Browns
I mean, you
off-season awards.
You had the training camp battle to watch. Like it's kind of like it's only like defensive tackle.
It's more just who's going to get the playing time in some of the sub packages. Are we going to go 4 defensive line 4 defensive ends? With Alex Wright's surge at the end of the year last year. I think he had a sack in 4 straight games to close out the season. It's little who's going to make who are going to be players 47 to 53. Like there aren't training camp battles.
Who excels at special teams and earns an overall roster spot because of it?
Yeah, it's like in the cornerback room, the battles are all happening. They're not to start. The battles are happening, to your point, Tony Brown, Justin Hardy, Miles Harden that we drafted, Khalif Halasi. Who are corners 5 and 6? Who are linebackers 3, 4, and 5? Who's tight end 3? That's really all we're looking at here. On the offensive line, your backups, I mean, you have if you carry 9, you kind of know who your 9 are right now. Your 9 are going to be the 5 starters, the 1 tackle that we all think of as a starter that's not starting, that's 6. Zinter is 7. Luke Whippler is 8. And probably James Hudson, right? James Hudson's been around for a while, 9, and then maybe another guard, Michael Dunn. I mean, you're pretty well loaded up.
Yeah, there's this is what happens when you are among a handful of teams. Like what separates us from Kansas City? It's if our quarterback plays near that level. He doesn't even have to be Mahomes, but if he plays near that level, then you're right there.
Of course.
So it's a razor thin margin And it's just that one part of it. That's it.
Yeah, and I think the Browns, one thing that I'm not concerned about and I think is going to end up being a big advantage for the Browns is special teams. I love that D-Hop is back. I love that Bajorquez is back. And I think with Bubba Ventrone, we're going to figure out a way to be, for this new kickoff rule, to be a positive for our team, both in return game and in coverage.
Certainly feels like that.
It does feel that way.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be big this year. I think that's going to be a big, big deal.
It's your Uncle Bo here for the James B. Beam Distilling Company. Sunny days call for refreshing cocktails, which is why Basil Hayden's mellow, refined, subtly sweet bourbon is a perfect choice for your summer entertaining. Basil's the approachable, lighter side of bourbon, distilled with a higher percentage of rye to give it a subtle spiciness, perfect for the setting, the tone of the season. From hosting backyard dinner parties to happy hours on the patio and beach days, enjoy time with friends in a more approachable, sophisticated way. Head over to basilhaydenbourbon.com. Check out their cocktails for your next gathering. Coming up next, we play a little bit of higher or lower. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet, sports betting partner of Cleveland Browns, now live in Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right, welcome back into Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet, sports betting partner, your Cleveland Browns, now live in Ohio. Time for a little higher or lower, presented by Keep It Fun Ohio from the Ohio Lottery, who reminds you to know the risks of gambling. Hello, Gibby.
Hello, boys.
Give it.
The good news is I have to send you both out together on the right note, which is Pete Prisco's top
God.
100 player ranking.
This is wild.
Pete.
This is absolutely wild.
Petey.
We touched on this on Thursday when it came out. The fact that there was only one Cleveland Brown in the top 100.
Jeez.
Myles Garrett at number 2. But then you also, in honorable mention status, David Njoku, Joel Bitonio, Amari Cooper, and Denzel Ward. Those are your honorable mentions. One player from the Pro Football Focus number 3 overall roster in the league, making the top 100.
It's outrageous. It's absurd.
Get Prisco
And
in the ring.
unfortunately, it's not surprising. I mean, I think that when you go to we're going to call it like an egregious standpoint, the fact that Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is not even listed as an honorable mention,
Yeah.
the fact that Wyatt Teller, who's now 3 straight Pro Bowls, multiple second-team All-Pros in the National Football League, is not mentioned as an honorable mention, that seems crazy to me. Joel Bitonio is for sure amongst the top 100 players in this league. Denzel Ward is for sure amongst the top 100 players in this league. Amari Cooper is for sure amongst the top 100 players in this league. JOK is for sure amongst the top 100 players in this league. And I would imagine if you were to do a draft and completely disband the NFL, and so 100 players is 3 rounds worth of drafting, you're going to get all those guys picked in addition to probably the Chief, because Chief's probably a top 5 tight end in the NFL.
Yeah.
So this to me is a very, it's not a surprising list. I mean, Nick Chubb also should be on there as well because he is one of the top 100 players. I get he's saying maybe we don't know what that looks like, but it's wild. Some of this is just completely insane. People that are on here, Trey McBride, the tight end from the Arizona Cardinals, is number 83. And yes, he put up some volume numbers last year. He's not the blocker the Chief is. He wasn't even a Pro Bowler last year. Not to say that means he wasn't good. He had nice numbers, 81, 8, 25, and 3. Chief had better numbers and was a Pro Bowler and is a better blocker. Some of these, I think they're wild. It almost feels irresponsible.
I think also, like, you'd put something like this together. I mean, we did the trial of Pete Prisco when he had Zeke Elliott raked ahead of Nick Chubb.
Right.
And, he lost. We hardly even got to the second line. It was more decisive than the Pedro beatings.
It was.
I mean, it was just overwhelming. So it's like, I don't know. Sometimes I think somebody says, "Hey, Pete, put together a list." He goes, "Okay."
Yeah. Oh, no, that's,
So this guy's one, and then
I
we'll
guarantee
pull it.
this is the last thing he has to do till training camp.
Yeah, and I just think you look at it, it's such a disservice.
You want a
to what
list? I'll give you a list.
Actually, is happening in the league.
It's a total. That I think the way that you said it right there is very spot on. Yes, it is not in any way, shape, or form reflective of what's actually going on. Some of this, it's.
I mean, did you see, and I was on him early last year. He has Sam Laporta 58.
And I
He
like
was really
Sam
good.
Laporta.
And I knew he'd have a big year with the Lions. He was a fantasy stalwart, 10 touchdowns, nearly 900 yards. Like, he had but 1 year.
Yeah, he's a Pro Bowler.
And he's 58 overall.
That seems wild to me. And
He's not 98. He's
Chief had
58.
81, 882, and 6, and is a better blocker for sure than all these guys.
He's got 2 of 65.
I know. It's pretty amazing. Let's get to it. Hit it, Paulus. You can actually just do the higher, lower, just right.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Up
Higher,
first.
lower, just right.
Better or worse?
There are a number of ways I could go here. Young Brock had T.J. Watt at number 5, but I think I got to go Trent Williams first at number 3. Higher, lower, or just right?
So he's the best offensive lineman in football?
That's
Yes.
that's the consensus.
That's kind of the consensus on it.
Mm-hmm.
3 overall is, you think about the great friend of the program, the great Hoff,
Yep.
who's thriving in Germany.
His son is a rugby stud.
Kid's a rugby stud. He's out coaching. He's living his best life. Somehow he's not going to see Germany or Bayern Munich play, but I'll let that slide, I guess. I remember Laurinaitis telling me this when we were doing the whole conversation between Jamar Chase and Penei Sewell. I never game planned for a left tackle.
Yep.
So I can't have a left tackle, the third best player in football, on a list that goes quarterback, defensive end. Now, I don't know how you weigh quarterbacks. That's really hard because their value is so out. It's so extraordinarily more than any other position that I don't know how you do it. But I have a hard time having a left tackle number 3 overall. So I would probably go lower.
Agreed.
Worse
Tyreek
or-
Hill should be up there. T.J. Watt, Christian McCaffrey should be higher than he currently is. Nick Bosa should be higher than he currently is. Chris Jones should be higher than he currently is. Yeah, that's a tough one. And look, Trent Williams could be at the back end of the top 10. I have no problem with that.
So
It's wild to me, though, how many. I think he goes with teams that he thinks that he likes,
Yeah.
and then he's like, I'm just going to put all their players on here. Like, to your point, you said Tua is 65. Is Tua really 65 if Tyreek Hill's 4 and Jalen Waddle's 42?
Right. Right.
And they really haven't accomplished all that much, and he's got the best. This would make them the best receiver duo in the league.
They haven't even won a playoff game.
No.
no.
Because the only other receivers that he has ahead of, by the way, the only receivers he has ahead of Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, C.D. Lamb, Devontae Adams, A.J. Brown, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and then Jalen Waddle.
Yeah, that's too much.
Do people consider, is Jalen Waddle thought of as being a top 8 receiver in the NFL?
I don't. But it's like, I don't know, maybe like if Tyreek's not there, maybe he would be, but there's still so many guys. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It's too much.
Too much.
Next,
Higher or lower?
Josh Allen is at number 6. Higher, lower, or just right?
I think we're going to get a real appreciation of even more so of Josh Allen this year. I mean, Josh Allen turned the football over too many times last year.
Yep.
And he would tell you that. And by the way, good, because now we have Ken Dorsey here. Should he be ahead of Lamar Jackson, who's a 2-time MVP?
That's a great one.
Lamar's
think
number
so.
16.
And if you took Lamar off of the Ravens, that offense is actually not that exciting. If they had to just have a drop back quarterback with what they've got to work with there, yeah, Zay Flowers, that's great. None of the other receivers have amounted to anything. Mark Andrews is good, but coming off of an injury. And then he's so instrumental in why their run game's so effective, not just with his own legs, but the distraction that he causes in some of the misdirections and the fact that he's got to be accounted for. Josh Allen is a one-man wrecking crew, but I think coming off of his second MVP season, that Lamar Jackson would have to be a higher or better ranked than Josh Allen.
Lamar Jackson's also behind Joe Burrow, who has played 4 NFL seasons and has only finished 2.
And has never been the MVP.
No. So, I think you're to the point with Burrow where you have to consider availability as a trait.
Here's the other one on here that bugs me just right off the top. Aaron Rodgers is 20.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't play at all last year.
None.
So that's based on either what he was before the injury, then Nick Chubb needs to be in the top 100.
That's 100%. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Next,
Be consistent.
He is. He hates Nick Chubb.
Lower.
He does hate Nick Chubb. He's the only person on the planet who doesn't like Nick
Crazy.
Chubb.
Travis Kelce comes in at number 18. Higher, lower, or just right? Did you see him at Taylor Swift over the week? Did you see the party in London with the who's of?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So they, and by the way, good on him.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Good for him.
You're dating the most famous woman on the planet. Live,
In the
baby.
time of his life.
He's a kid from
Coattails.
Cleveland Heights, man. Can you imagine? That life?
No.
It's crazy. Out there in a top hat and tails, dancing around, playing in a skit while she's dancing. Come on.
It's great. It's
It's
good for
awesome.
him.
It's fantastic. It's
He probably
fantastic.
should be higher on this. He's the best tight end in football by a wide margin, has been for a decade. He's first ballot gold jacket.
Yeah.
And I have no problem even with them having 3 guys in the top 15 or so, with Chris Jones up there as well.
Next.
No, me either.
Higher or lower?
So I scroll through here. The one that is, it's just crazy on his jump. This goes back to what you were saying about Prisco liking certain teams. Maybe he likes the Bengals this year because he had Trey Hendricks moving up from 91 to 33. I mean, 60 spots.
Yeah,
he's got Burrow ahead of Lamar. He's got Jamar at 13.
I think you're right. I think you hit it, Z. I think that he's just he likes a guy and then he puts him there. For example, and I love him. I love this next guy, and you have him on the list, I think, here. Yeah, he's on the list. He actually dropped him 9 spots. And this isn't all his fault. And I think he's going to be a monster this year if Rodgers can stay healthy. But Garrett Wilson's 1,000 yards and 3 touchdowns last year. It's 95 catches, 1,000 yards, and 3 touchdowns. I mean, Amari had games. What are we doing? Amari's not on this list.
Amari had 1250 and 5 average 17.4 yards a catch.
Come on. With all sorts of – and by the way, he didn't have Aaron Rodgers either.
No.
Correct.
And he still did it. And so,
yeah, he had 4 quarterbacks.
I don't understand how, the selective memory or the way that he selectively views certain players, there's no consistency to it at all.
No.
There's no rules that apply to it.
No, it certainly does not seem to be that way.
It's here's what I think. And you go, well, that's not right. And he's like, well, it is because this is what I think.
And listen, I like Trevor Lawrence. I still think he's going to be very good. But Trevor Lawrence is on this list at number 62. He had a fine year.
Remember, we did the stats for him. We're
4,000 yards, 21 touchdowns, 14 picks, rating of 88. I mean, it wasn't not a Pro Bowler, not even considered anything. 22, he had 25 touchdowns and 8 picks. I mean, he was much better a year ago. I don't even know why he's on this list. He shouldn't be in the he shouldn't be in the top 100.
Next.
He's got Stingley 80th.
Higher or lower?
He's got Stingley 80th, and I know he's good when he plays, but he's only played 20 games in 2 years.
He didn't even have him ranked a year ago. What?
He only played 11. He had 5 picks last year, so he had a lot of interceptions, but he only played in 11 games.
Yeah. He had Levante David in the top 100. JOK had a much better year than Levante David.
So strange.
Well, up next, running back Derrick Henry, last season number 30, this year 91. Higher, lower, or just right for the new Ravens running back?
Well, he loves the Ravens, so the Raven, he makes it 'cause he's a Raven. I mean, he's coming off 4.2 yards per carry, which is the lowest of his career. 1,167 yards, 12 touchdowns. He's led the NFL in rushing attempts 4 of the last 5 years. He's still very good.
I'm not going to say anything
probably in
negative
the
about
top
him
100.
because if there's a chance that Vrabel's nearby and he hears me, I don't want to get put in a headlock.
I think he's definitely still top 100.
Speaking of a match you don't want.
No, you don't want any part of that.
I wouldn't mind his assistance.
Well, who are I just wonder, who are the running backs? You got McCaffrey's at 8.
There are not many.
No. McCaffrey's the only one in the top 50.
Yep.
Good grief. I mean, is it just McCaffrey and Henry?
Yeah, it certainly looks that way.
Looks like it's just McCaffrey and Henry.
So, hold on a second.
He's got 2 running backs in the top 100.
Well, that's what he thinks about running backs. That's been his thing for a long, long time. Let me pull up.
Well, then by that rationale, McCaffrey ought to be way higher up.
Correct.
Because he's essentially one of one.
Yes. All right. Let's see. Player stats.
It's just a strange list.
Very much is.
I mean, the weird thing is he actually should have had Kyron Williams, by his definitions. Kyron Williams should have been on this list. Kyron Williams, same number of yards on 60 fewer carries. So more. He averaged 5 yards a carry, 1144, 12 touchdowns, and actually did more as a receiver than Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry averaged 68.6 yards per game. Karen Williams led the NFL 95.3 yards rushing per game. So he should be on the list.
Yeah.
And then Nick Chubb should be on the list. We all know that already.
Does he have Brock Purdy on this?
Yes.
Yeah,
he does at number 85.
Okay.
Mike Evans is at 88.
Mike Evans should be higher.
Yeah.
Better.
Yeah, some of these are. I think you just say, "Hey, Pete, we need a list."
It's a tough.
And he's like, "I like these teams. Here's some guys."
Here's some
it's
guys
so
on those
arbitrary.
teams. Yes. That's what it feels like to me. It feels like, oh, this guy, Trey McBride, helped my fantasy team.
Right?
I see Nakua on here. Where's
No Cooper Cup. I mean,
that's pretty amazing.
did you do Pickens already?
No, we did not do
Like,
Pickens.
Pickens was on this
Up
list.
against.
Pickens is 68 on this list.
And I like him a lot.
Uh-huh.
I've been on. I thought he was a supreme talent the whole time, but I mean, he had 11. He didn't have his numbers weren't even as good as Amari's.
No.
Fewer catches, fewer yards, fewer touchdowns. I mean, I don't understand what we're doing.
No. It's strange.
Yes, thank you for the content.
Thanks for the content, Pete. If you ever want to go back on trial, we'd be happy to welcome you back into the court of law.
Oh man, yes.
It'll be dismissed relatively quickly. So much more to come. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right, tomorrow, the voice, Jim Donovan, will be in for Dr. Z, who will be convalescing, getting healthy.
Yes, I appreciate that.
And take care of yourself, both mentally and physically.
I'm going to get right.
That was an
I'm gonna get
attack.
right. I have
an unprovoked attack.
Sometimes when you go through something like this, you need to have that light at the end of the tunnel, and I've got that beacon, so I'm locked
Perfect.
in.
Paulus, play it one more time for us.
Jeez. It's one of the low points of the man's life. He was attacked, violated.
No, the man got into the ring.
Not for that.
Not
No?
for that.
Not for that. No.
I'm pretty sure he's seen enough of this over the years.
Not for that.
Not for that.
But it's okay. It's darkest before the dawn.
There you go. On that note, the next level is next. We're back tomorrow. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.